Hey guys, it's me again. Real quick, I wanted to talk about kind of a new topic that had come up in my mind um, on emotional inflammation and emotional self defense. And the self defense is really in dealing with the inflammation that happens when we're dealing with toxic emotions, toxic feelings that we've let just kind of settle in our heart and our soul. And it's just corrupting every perception we have. Let me give an example. Someone who has been someone who's been raised to think that they're ugly or stupid or just not good enough adopts that way of thinking from childhood. And I'm not saying this to blame our parents. Okay, let me clear this up. Okay, there was no perfect parent. No parent was perfect. Okay, our parents did the best that they could with what they had, and I have yet to run into the parent. And mind you, they might be out there, and you have to judge this for yourself. But do you think your parent intentionally meant to harm you emotionally? Okay, so you just need to really think about that. So, anyways, we've grown up with some of these ideals in our head that are dysfunctional, and it affects our whole perception. And I'll just go from a personal story. My self-esteem was never that good because of my weight. I was always the fat kid. I know I talked about this in other videos, and because I was the fat kid, I had a sense of being not good enough. So that made me always want to overachieve, always wanted to overextend myself, to do more than anybody else. And it wasn't out of a competitive nature, it was out of a desperation for affirmation. Okay. So I wasn't being competitive. I had this deep desire for people to like me, for people to say, Will, hey, that was a good job, because I never felt like I was good enough on the inside. So, because I never felt I was good enough, that perception, that twisted concept, really corroded me from the inside because it ended up making me clingy, desperate, totally afraid of anything that might be a challenge, anything where I might encounter possible rejection. So I would run the other way before it would even happen. You ever see one of those people that would break up with the person before they broke up with you? That was me. You know, I would be the first one to draw blood. So I was extremely defensive. Okay, so this is emotional inflammation. I never treated the core of the emotional disturbance in my head. I never dealt with the identity dissonance, and I talk about that in my book, where I am trying to be someone that I don't believe myself to be. I don't even believe myself capable of being. So it's a constant deception. It's a constant living the life of a fraud, and that creates stress. And you guys know stress is documented on causing so many problems with the body and mind. So you get these inflamed this inflamed emotional core that's never healthy, that's always throbbing and in pain. And so we look for dysfunctional ways to soothe that. And that's where, like, all these dysfunctional things happen, like addictions. We drink, we do drugs, we eat. You guys know I had them all. We go into these unhealthy relationships, all to kind of soothe that inflammation that we're struggling with emotionally. So in order to create a healthy kind of defense mechanism, a healthy productive defense for our emotions, we have to do the opposite. We have to actually begin working on our core identity, our core ideals. Who am I? Who do I want to really be? I wanted to let that sink in for a second. Because a lot of us don't know who we are, who we want to be, because we're so busy trying to get other people's approval that we don't even realize that we don't even know what they're trying to approve. We're so busy trying to get people to love us when we don't even know what they're loving. We don't have any kind of value for ourselves. We don't have any concept of what we're good at, what we're not good at. We're so fragile. And that's from the inflammation. We're corroded on the inside, and it's created this brittleness. So we have to do some core strength training emotionally, okay? That means counseling. That means positive self-talk. That means really working on things that you don't like, and accepting who we are, where we are. We have to forgive ourselves for past mistakes. We were never designed to be perfect. Never. And here's a clue. You're never going to be perfect. But just because we're not going to be perfect doesn't mean we're going to be a failure either. See, we've got to, we go all the way to the left on that, like, oh, well, I'm a complete loser. No, you're not. You're not even close to that. So to really kind of defend ourselves, our greatest defense that we have to develop is a defense against our own negativity. If you got to put up a note card about 10 positive things about yourself, do it and go over it every day. I read positive books. I hang around positive people, not for them to give me encouragement, but because they're an example to me. I admire my bishop and his confidence. He's confident even when he's wrong. And I love that about him. And he's a great example on being fearless. And I've seen him when he's being attacked, and criticized and when he's hurt, and yet, he's still unstoppable. He's emotionally intact. And that's what we're striving for. We're striving to be emotionally intact. Not just surviving the storm, not just thriving in the storm. We need to become the storm. I am my own force of nature. I influence people just by walking in and smiling. And I own that. It reminds me of Zoolander, where what did he call it? I don't know. He called one of his poses some sort of steel gaze or something. Steel. I think it was steel blue or blue steel. I don't know, but he would do like this pose, like, and that was his signature move, and he could stop bullets and stuff, and it was hilarious. But he was confident. I know it was a movie, but we kind of got to get that. We kind of got to own who we are, flaws and strengths. I know my strengths and I know my flaws, and I love all of them because that's who I am. And I want you guys to invest in who you are because you guys are beautiful. We are unique. You are a unique, beautiful, intelligent person. And you got skills. You got mad skills, y'all. But nobody can bring that out of you except yourself. So I'm just really encouraging you guys to really do some self-work and bring the best version of you in 2018. Okay? Love you guys. I got to go back to studying.